My friends, we're going to chart cryptos, commodities, and some currencies for you. We're going to add currencies into the mix this week. Hope you like it. Let's jump into these charts and see where we are. We're going to first start with the 24-hour-a-day Bitcoin chart. What do we see going on? Right now, it's about 5 o'clock Eastern time on Wednesday afternoon, and we can see, what is this, the 31st of May. We can see that Bitcoin, had started to move down and now is a bit ambivalent. We look at this 2-day chart, we can see where it's trying to push through. We can see on the half day we've been above it for a while. Now this is a 24-hour-a-day half day. What does that mean? That means that every 195 minutes it's drawing a chart, a candle for us. But let's blow up and look at actual Bitcoin. You can see where it topped its most recent high back during the week of the 10th of April, then strongly sideways for 3 weeks, then dropping over, heading down on the week beginning May the 8th, down the next week beginning May the 15th, and then sort of sliding sideways, maybe trending up a little bit since then, breaking that trend line. Now it is a down day on Wednesday, hoping that it will continue to move on down and again resetting this whole thing. We want an accurate chart. And you can see, nice clean down move, popped up some down, popped up a little bit. We want something that looks a lot more like our SPY, where we've got clean red to green to red to green to red to green. That's what we want. We're hoping it'll reset. What about Ethereum? Ethereum again down for a few weeks, and now it looks like it's starting to edge back up again. You can see the volumes doing nothing fantastic that gives us any great clues either on what might be going on and trending with it. So we'll continue to keep an eye on things and see what we can actually learn from it. Nothing right yet. And of course, the 24-hour-a-day chart. Sorry, this is the Bitwise Top 10 Crypto Index Fund. This is all 10 of the top 10 cryptocurrencies balanced by market share. So what controls this, of course, is Bitcoin, then Ethereum. Then the other top 8, again, much, much lower volume than Bitcoin. But we can see down for 3 weeks and this week pushing through, trying to push through that weekly trend line. It has, again, just sitting above it right now. Down for the day, 1.95%. So again, we'll watch overall. You can see where the average volume was spiked up by these huge levels with these down moves back in December. And then, it's hard for anything to really match that. Since then, you can see this down move in the average volume. So again, we want to see some things really reset and help us be able to have a chart that we can count on, which is very hard to do now in these cryptocurrencies with just the sporadic movement. In the past, we have had charts that we could practice trade on, and we're hoping those will come back. Let me just go over 3 commodity charts for you. You see where soybeans just continuing to hammer down. Let me call this up. Again, just continuing to move on down. Of course, what will we be looking for? A bottom at some point where things start to move up. It might give you a buy point in a practice trade. We saw sugarcane spike up forever, started losing that momentum back on the 15th of the week beginning the 15th of May, and now appears to be arcing over. Now, we saw this sort of happen before in the past, and then that inexorable climb continued again. So we're keeping an eye on that, but seeing if it is a potential short ability in sugarcane. And what about corn? We've seen corn try to move up back that week beginning the 27th of March and then the 3rd of April. Then things caved, but again, we are now seeing corn try once more to start moving up, and we will keep an eye on it. Just quickly, copper continues to move down strongly. Wheat continues to move down strongly. We'll keep an eye on these things and see when a bottom is reached to give us the potential to practice trade up moves on these commodities in the future. Now, let's talk about those currencies I wanted to show you. And again, okay charts we have here. You can see this clean up move in the European, what we call the euro. It staved off that up move back in early January, started up again for 3 more weeks or 4 more weeks, then down for 4 weeks, sliding sideways. We saw an uptick in volume, and then that last up move started. We saw an uptick in volume when it came to an end. So again, down for the last 4 weeks, continuing to move down. So if you're interested in currencies and the ability to practice trade buying and selling those, you can do that, of course, with these ETFs. This one is FXE. Next one we'll look at is the British pound. It also, again, has a chart that's all right. When we look back at it over the last year, we can see, clean delineations, but volume's not helping us that much. It helped a little bit to show you where the spike down was, but not really the spike up here, not really the down move here, and then the spike up. So again, you would be using primarily your trend lines and, of course, your Heiken Ashi candlesticks, and, of course, using what we teach about setting those profit and loss bands using the little gizmo over here under measuring and prediction tools, and that would be your long position or your short position, setting it at what? At 1 ATR. Maybe sell half your position, let the rest of it ride, and that is the ATR, the average true range on your 2-day chart for this weekly practice trade. Now, and again, we got lots of good training on how to use that and utilize that at the channel. It's the average true range training. Now, let's look at the Japanese yen. Again, another chart, and you can see where volume can help you some. Doesn't necessarily help you all the way along, but here we can see where we had a doji, then we had another doji and a spike up in the volume, and then things rolled over. Again, can't really, you can see it here for this short-lived up move that died pretty quick, but we had a nice down move again. You're going to get a little help from the volume, not a whole lot, mostly going to be using your Heiken Ashi candlesticks, your knowledge of course, the candles and the patterns, and then your trend lines. Again, making sure you cut your losses using your average true range. What about the Swiss franc? I mean, again, false one here, short range trade, but that would have, you would have been able to capture something there. Then turning around, nice up move, and so far, nice down move. So again, something to think about. We look at the Canadian dollar. No thanks. Don't like this much at all, particularly here of late when we see these patterns here that just get a little funky. And then, really popping up and then really decimatingly moving down. I don't know. Again, you're not going to know if you don't practice trade it and see if it is actually something. Aussie dollar, I'm even less excited about that than the Canadian dollar with these red to green to red to green to red to green, just not exciting for me. And this little doodad in the middle here back in December. So again, want clean charts. And again, better charts are, of course, the euro, the British pound, the yen, and, of course, the Swiss franc. So don't really care for the Canadian dollar, don't really care for the Aussie. So that is where we are. I hope you find this interesting. Again, they're ETFs that you can track and potentially practice trade just about anything you can think of. And what we've gone over today are cryptocurrencies, commodities, and currencies. Hope you enjoy this. Would love to hear anything else you would like to see, any advice you'd like me to expand on. Feel free to reach out to me, cw@chartingwealth.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.